Can I ask you something? Have you ever had a moment where you thought, I know this relationship was painful. I know there were things that hurt me. I know leaving was probably the right decision. So why do I still miss them? Maybe you've surprised yourself by thinking about the good memories. Maybe you found yourself wanting to reach out. Maybe you've wondered, does the fact that I still miss them mean I made the wrong choice? If you've asked yourself that question, I want you to know something. You are not the only person who has struggled with this. This is one of the most confusing parts of healing after a narcissistic or a toxic relationship that has deeply impacted you. Today, I want to have a conversation about why this happens. Because missing someone does not always mean you belong with them. Sometimes it means there is something inside of you that is still trying to make sense of what you experienced. If this is your first time here, welcome to Becoming More of You. This is a space where we talk about healing after difficult relationships, rebuilding trust in yourself, and reconnecting with who you are. Because healing isn't about becoming someone new, it's about becoming more of you. Here's something that I've noticed. Many women feel embarrassed or frustrated by the fact that they still miss someone who hurt them. They might think, why am I feeling this way? Why can't I just move on? Why does part of me still want the person who caused me pain? And I want to invite you to look at this differently. Instead of judging that feeling, let's get curious about it. Because feelings are information, they are telling us something. The question is not, why am I so attached? But the question is, what am I actually longing for? So let's pause here for a moment. And I want you to think about this. When you miss them, what are you actually missing? Is it the person as they consistently showed up? Or is it the moments where you felt loved, chosen, connected, and hopeful? Is it the relationship you were living? Or is it the relationship you believed it could have become? Take a moment here. Because sometimes what we miss is not only the person. Sometimes we miss the hope. And one thing I want to acknowledge is that the good moments were real. And I think this is something many women struggle with because they might think, if there were good moments, maybe I imagined the bad ones. But both things can exist. You can have loved someone, you can have shared beautiful memories, you can have seen qualities in them that you appreciated. And you can also acknowledge that parts of the relationship were painful. Healing often requires holding two truths at the same time. I cared about this person, and this relationship was hurting me. Both can be true. Something I often remind women is your mind and your heart do not always heal at the same speed. Your mind may understand something before your emotions have caught up with. You may know this relationship wasn't healthy for me, but then you can still feel that you miss them. It doesn't mean you are confused. It just means you're human. You are processing a connection, memories, hopes, and a future that you had imagined. Healing is not just letting go of a person. Sometimes it's grieving the version of life you thought you were going to have. So let's pause here again for a moment and let's think about this. Sometimes we are not only grieving who someone was, we are grieving who we hoped they would become. The apology we hoped would come, the conversation we hoped we would finally have, the moment where they would finally understand our pain. And that grief can be very real because you weren't only attached to a person, you were attached to a possibility. And this is where healing begins. Not by forcing yourself to stop caring, not by being angry enough, not by pretending the relationship didn't matter. Healing begins when you slowly bring your attention back to yourself and you ask, what did this relationship teach you about your needs? What did you stop listening to? What parts of yourself are you ready to reconnect with? What would it feel like to choose yourself without needing someone else to validate your choice. Because taking your power back does not mean you never think about them again. It does not mean you never have a sad day. And it does not mean healing happens perfectly. Taking your power back means you begin trusting yourself again. You begin saying, my feelings make sense. My experience matters. I can miss someone and still choose myself. And that is a powerful moment because your healing is no longer dependent on whether someone else changes, apologizes, or finally understands. Your healing begins with you. Before you go, I want you to remember something. Missing someone does not erase the reasons you needed to heal. Having love for someone does not mean you have to return to what hurt you. You are allowed to honor what was meaningful while also choosing what is healthy for you now. Healing happens one moment at a time, one choice at a time, one act of trusting yourself again at a time. And every time you choose yourself, you move closer to becoming more of you. I'll see you in the next conversation.